Fisherman here. I'm in Cape Town.
I was the only journalist in northern Nigeria.
Not an adventure until you get lost in Tijuana.
If you get caught inside by a giant wave, you feel really alone.
I love the adventure of waking up and not knowing what will happen and that being my job.
Let's do this, dude. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast, Ned Lampert. I have worked with you a little bit. I've been very impressed with your velocity of ideation. You tend to you have a very just kind of like a hey, you know, like what if we did this? I'm like, fuck, that's a really good idea. Like I think that you have a very understated way of pitching your ideas.
Yeah,
which is a nice and very unthreatening way to do it. I did a bit of stand-up in the past, and one comic came up to me after a show, and he gave me a really good piece of advice. He's like, I can see your punchlines coming. And I was like, fuck, that's not good, but that's a really good...
What do they say? Comedy's about like diversion or what?
Yeah. It's about... Well, and I think just the best comedians,
unexpected, they
hide their punchlines really well. You know, they kind of just slip it in. If you think of Louis C.K. or something,
you think the joke's going to go somewhere, and then it
totally
hits you, blindsides you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Totally. It's like Nate Bargatze is really good at that.
Totally. So how did you learn? I mean, I think you're good at pitching.
Yeah.
Did you? How did you learn that skill?
So I worked at an agency, and I think kind of a through line of my career is, and I said this to you yesterday, was sort of like success through naivety a little bit. Like I didn't come from advertising, and I was sort of thrown into it and was working with pretty blue chip clients like right away. And so it was my own like juniorness that just would throw stuff out.
Right. And
I think I learned pretty quickly that, you know, ideas are really easy, but if you put them in front of people and make them feel easy, the opportunity to execute them and do them kind of increases too. If you make the idea conversational, because it feels like the commitment is more what if about like a conversation we're having, and rather this big investment and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And again, that was like me probably not understanding the language of advertising and like the language of pitching work, and just being like, well, what if we got the Goodyear blimp?
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I'm talking about though, is like you'll pitch ideas like, yeah, you know, like what if we just like buy an airport or something? I don't know. And like, you know, it's just like would be kind of cool to have like a flight of like, you know, airliners that are, and you're like, but the way you're doing it sounds like, oh yeah, like that's totally possible. And I think that style of like casual pitching helps get other people to your side of the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to spend their money is the thing. I had this thing, you know, I think I used to talk about this idea of like hallway ideas. This is maybe pre-COVID because people were actually in the office. Is there's no risk in putting a sharp idea in front of a client. And I love doing that because I know they're going to go to their next meeting or run into someone in the hall and be like, listen to this crazy idea. And I think there's a ton more equity and value as a creative partner doing that sort of stuff, because they're able to like understand you're thinking about pushing their business forward, maybe all of our careers forward too, and you give them these like juicy little fruits that they can carry around,
right? And
they have this like bite at the back of their neck of like, oh, we should have done that. You know? Yeah,
making them feel kind of more interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And what's the opposite of that?
I think over engineering things, you sort of lose sight of maybe the opportunity, and you think about more of the executional path of an idea, and not like if someone stumbles into this idea not knowing the brand, or maybe knowing the brand not very well, or just not understanding what we're trying to do, are they going to get that idea, and are they going to like it, and the value of like sharing it and the endorsement of it. And I think if you over engineer things, you're kind of playing racquetball with yourself a little bit. You know,
Right.
you're just hitting the ball back and forth.
Right. It's really easy to start caring about things that are fundamentally unimportant.
Yeah, totally.
And lose sight of the things that fundamentally are important.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are just like bored. They're bored, but their whole life is like America's Funniest Home Videos, right? Just constant. And so you have to do something like really clean and sharp and singular and not expect it to, and we're sort of like jumping into it really fast already, but like not expect it to achieve all these crazy brand goals, you know, like awareness. I've just worked on a lot of awareness projects, which is great. And that's why I get pulled into stuff like we're working on, and other like big brands is like we're launching a product or a shoe or whatever, just like very simply tell the most amount of people about this. And that's sort of the brief that I've been given, luckily, for a lot of my career, because that's like the real razzle dazzle stuff that people like to do.
I've heard my friend Scott Norton is a very intelligent advertiser, say that performance marketing is about getting a brand rich, and awareness marketing, brand marketing, is about famous.
Yeah. Or wealth.
Or So you know, what you see a lot with the performance stuff is it's direct, like this is the benefit for you right now. Whereas awareness is much more, if you think about, you know, the great ads that Nike have done.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
It's not about the how as much as it's about the why. So the work that you've been able
Find
to
your
do
greatness
is much
like,
about the why.
Yeah, totally.
And did you feel like you had a knack for that from an early age?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I started DJing really early, and I think that taught me how to, I mean, I would say if you're a young creative, you should just try and DJ, but don't try and DJ and play the deep cuts. Like, go try and play the hits, like throw a party, like get people engaged. And I think I learned to not be afraid of big dumb songs or big bold moves while DJing, because that just is everyone ultimately just wants to have fun, whether it's a club night or whether it's a house party or whether it's just life.
Yeah.
So prioritize that, and you're gonna win hearts and minds, and then the money will come. Right. Money will always come if you can do that hard part of making a moment memorable or pulling someone in and say I understand you on a personal level, or inspiring them. You know?
Yeah, I've never heard someone talk about this idea of be a DJ.
Dude, it's really honestly the best. I was so bad at school. It taught me more.
You know, my friend Charlie is he's also a very good marketer, brand builder. And the other week he left LA and he threw a party called Children of Zarlutha. Whoa. And to go to the party, it was a house party at his spot. You had to get it was a painter's suit that zipped all the way up, right? Cool. And then there was a hood on it, so everyone looked like they were
eyes wide shut shit,
like a space cadet, right?
Oh,
so
cool.
everyone showed up to this party looking like a space cadet, and there was all this crazy alien theme,
fun
portal world. You're gonna be, if you dance hard enough, you're gonna enter a portal into another world, and it was just a sweet night, right? Everyone had a really good time.
That's fun,
but. Simply put, that's what you're trying to do for a brand on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
You're trying to throw a party that people want to go to.
I think TikTok is really successful because it does that. And the thing that I've talked about TikTok is a massive platform to tell inside jokes, right? And I think that brands that are able to like inside jokes, like the DM, the group chat, that's where the most human moments happen. You have all dudes have a group chat that they have callback jokes from 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I think what TikTok does is it builds off these jokes, and so you have this platform that's catered towards communication and DMing and celebrating this inside joke. I think is great, and I think if you as a brand can build some sort of inside joke or some sort of, I don't know, this is a smart man word, but esoteric language around your brand that taps into human truth.
Right. And it makes people feel like they're kind of on this inner circle where there's a certain jargon and inside jokes.
Yeah.
people are really willing to pay for that.
Yeah.
So when you were, tell me more about this DJ, this DJ time. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Minneapolis,
Okay.
Minnesota.
And what was that like for you? To bring me into Ned,
Yeah.
early life,
Yeah.
DJing,
Minnesota.
age 5.
Yeah, Minnesota's cool. It's very beautiful like 4 months out of the year, and it's really cold for like 8 months out of the year. I don't know, maybe 6. I should give them credit, but I think there's a lot of very intelligent people in Minnesota because you spend a lot of time inside in the winter, and there's not mountains like we have here, and there's not like surfing and that sort of stuff.
That's
There's
really funny.
there's a ton of really good skiers, both cross country and downhill, and snowboarders and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people spend a lot of time inside and they like hone a craft. And so it's a very creative place. Everyone's really smart. And, it was a great place to grow up. But I always had sights on New York, of all places. I never really thought I would end up in California, but I'm so glad that I did. And so I was just kind of like scratching at any way to get to New York. And then, I started in college, I started DJing. Because I think it was like a little social anxiety and also just like cynicism about the music sucks at this party. So I just started, I bought turntables like my freshman year of college and just started throwing parties, and they got like bigger and kind of unique. It was like in Minneapolis at the time, there was very few college house parties that had turntables at, it was like a novelty. And so, yeah, I just started throwing these big parties and DJing and stuff. And honestly, it's like, you're marketing a brand. It's before social media. It's before people like talked about their personal brand. And it was,
Right.
and so it was like building a brand, trying to draw as many people in, maybe out of narcissism, maybe out of just like fun or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah. And then understanding like, yeah, you can get a bunch of people there, but can you keep them engaged? And it's not playing the stuff that you listen to at your desk and the stuff that you're really passionate about, but like bridging that gap of like making interesting music for a lot of people and getting a lot of people. And there's just, I think that's just like that experience. I never knew it at the time, but like a few years ago, it really hit me like, oh, that like taught me to do creative ideation,
Right.
like turning observations into insight like really well. Cause you're just doing it and you're sweating literally,
Right.
and you're nervous and all that sort of stuff. And so, and then I started DJing for Red Bull, which was cool because like our college parties were like going off. And then a friend of mine was at Red Bull and said, hey, you should come try and do a couple of these little events. And then they ended up hiring me for some of these big national events because I think I had a populist approach to it. I was like, I'm not going to play X-rated shit. I'm going to like DJ to the 14-year-old niece or nephew that's sitting in the front seat of my car.
Sure.
And so then I ended up flying around the country for a few years and playing these like big Red Bull events and getting a ton of exposure to that brand as that brand was on this like crazy trajectory, and seeing how they were investing in sport and gaming
Music.
and music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was just like the guy that could go play these big events and just be safe but fun.
Yeah.
you
They
know?
don't need to worry about you.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, there's a few things that I want to unpack here. The first is the value of casting a wider net.
Yeah.
Think about someone like Jerry Seinfeld, right? He's basically a clean comedian.
Yeah, totally.
And there's
Nate Bargatze too.
There's a decision in that.
Yeah.
One is that it's actually harder to do clean comedy because you can't rely just on fart and sex jokes.
Yeah.
But also it gets you into a larger total addressable market. Right. So if you can still feel like what you're doing from an artistic standpoint is fun and true for you, there is a strategic move to, okay, I'm going to go after more people here because it's going to allow me to do what it is that I want to do.
Yeah.
The second thing that I wanted to have you talk about a bit more, because I think it's more prevalent than ever, is just this idea of failure being a kind of bee sting that you become inoculated to over time. And the amount of, really the epidemic of young people who are afraid of failure, largely due to social media.
No faster way to learn.
Right. But the fear of putting yourself out there and paralyzing fear, right? I mean, this is something that
That's why we have a sex recession right now, too.
Right.
Totally related.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
You need to walk up to someone
Yeah.
and say what's up and potentially get rejected.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that it's worth it for you to be able to talk a bit about this, and I think you can do it in an uncliche way because you've actually
Failed a lot.
I mean, you're a fucking failure, man. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
is
thank
like,
you. Appreciate it.
Ned the failure.
This is
we
where
want to
this
talk.
turns.
What's it like to be a failure?
Yeah.
But no,
I've
mean,
had some big ones. Holy shit.
We really don't talk about it enough, right?
Yeah.
Because we end up when people tell their story, it's usually on the other side of success.
Yeah.
And just all the little, it's not even big failures, but like the little ones. Like I'm going through it right now where I like will text some people who I'm like, you know, they're kind of famous and I'm maybe not that good friends with them. And I'm like, hey, I'd love to send you my book. Like,
Yeah.
but you just need to like, it's like
Do you want a selfie first?
hold your breath and
Yeah.
dive in situation.
Yeah, totally.
But I just want to know, like, what's your experience or even inner monologue or any stories that you have about it not going well before
Yeah.
you started getting attention for DJing?
Yeah. I mean, I think like for me, I was just like kind of always bad at school. And so school, even though like I went to college and I couldn't get into advertising.
You tried
Advertising,
to?
I tried and I couldn't get in.
That's hilarious.
So I was like a C- comm studies graduate that took like 5 years. Pretty bad. So yeah, so I assumed that I was just never going to be successful professionally. And then I learned like it's experience and honestly like commitment that gets you success, right? Maybe the willingness to listen a lot too. But I don't know. I had some pretty big failures when I first moved to California. I had like a big project. And it was for a very big shoe brand. It was for a marathon. And we had sort of figured out how to make this bracelet. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but we basically were like, hey, why do you need a bib to run a marathon, right? Let's try and make a bracelet and see if we can get it to work. And we invested an insane amount of money into it and a bunch of resources. And in like the 11th hour, 11th 45 minutes, it was just like, this totally doesn't work. And like, we need to make a decision here or 30,000 people are not going to get their timing at this marathon, you know? And I think like that was like one of those moments where I was literally just like laying on the floor of my house, just being like, oh dude, I'm so done. I'm like cooked. I'm so cooked. Spent so much money and it's just like everything is in the trash. And honestly, I think like I've been very lucky to work with really incredibly brilliant visionary clients, and they just taught me like, hey, you know what? That's okay. We learned. Like we'll get it on the next one. But it was like a really dark moment for me because I had sort of like hung my hat on like, if this thing works, this is like banger for me.
Yeah, life-changing.
The agency that I was working for, and honestly, it came and went. It was 3 months of like the most stress of my life, and then I don't know, everything kept going.
Sure.
And I guess I've been lucky to be able to make big mistakes like that and continue to move forward. But yeah, I got a couple other ones too. I mean,
that's a good one though.
it's
I think everyone
one.
has that the intestine flipping moments in their life.
Yeah.
And often too, I think those ones come from these like this idea that your one thing will change your life. And
Yeah,
sometimes that does. Sometimes it does, but more often it's
a
just
book of work.
It's a thing and people are like, hey, that was cool. Right on. And then Tuesday comes around again.
Totally.
Right.
Tuesday will always come around.
Tuesday will always come around
Yeah.
no matter how big the project was.
Yeah, totally.
And so did you start working at an advertising agency first before you were in-house anywhere? How did you actually get into advertising from the DJ Red Bull thing?
Yeah. So when I was DJing for Red Bull, I was working at like in marketing and in like a life insurance backed financial firm, very specific niche, like financial market stuff. And it was just a job that I got. I didn't really look. It was just like, here's a marketing job that I can get that probably the bar for success was pretty low. And so I was working there in financial services and kind of onboarding clients and, messaging like complex financial data and making it somewhat compelling as it can
I'm
be.
already bored.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be 20 more minutes of this. And then at the same time, I was DJing for Red Bull. And then there's this agency in Minneapolis, incredible. It's called Space 150. And they had a job in New York for basically a strategist on Amex. And I was like, I didn't get that job. Because they were like the bad boy, cool agency. But they also, they still are. But they also just had like a really incredible book of business. Like Amex was one of their clients.
Sure.
So I was able to go in there and be like, hey, I'm a cool guy.
Right.
That knows cool stuff because I'm a DJ and I work for Red Bull. But I also am a nerd that has been working on financial services, which is what they needed for American Express.
Right.
And so I got the job, which was crazy. And that was like one of the most lucky things in my life.
Wow.
And then, within like 2 months, I was in New York right near Ground Zero, like working at American Express. No idea what I was doing. Like no idea. But yeah, and I just, again, like got thrown into these environments and just learn by doing a lot. And I don't know, faked it till I made it. I tried to be confident.
Sure.
Tried to mirror back what people were saying and not sound like not trying to expand my vocabulary where it doesn't belong.
Yeah, a lot of steepling.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of steepling and nodding. So one thing I'm curious about with you is any process that you learned through that time. Advertising agencies tend to have more of a structured project for ideation.
Yeah.
And for anyone out there who's fucking bored with, I don't want to hear about marketing or advertising.
Yeah, sorry.
You are in marketing and advertising. No matter what you do, there's an aspect of your work.
And marketing and advertising is just sales. We're all in the business of sales.
We're all in the business of sales. And there are better ways to do it and worse. But the fundamental idea of a core insight and a kernel that you can then build a really big idea from is a universal human truth and the reason why I'm drawn to advertising. I did not think I was going to get into this thing, but the idea that you can, or that I'll just speak personally, that I can look at a group of people that are not necessarily my people.
Yeah.
They're in a totally different world, subculture, have different context for what they believe, what's important to them, how they talk, like literally how they see the world might be different from how I see the world because we have a different past, different culture, right? But there is some insight to their psychology that maybe they're walking around thinking that they haven't even said yet.
Yeah.
Like those are the most powerful ones where they haven't even fucking said it yet. And you're able to find that thing.
Yeah.
And then say it back to them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're fucking like, oh my God, yes, this guy gets me. This brand, and to me, that's just endlessly interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Because it's the study of how humans
behavior
work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I fucking love doing what this is. But I do think that it's really easy to start complicating it. And especially when you get into a big brand, I would imagine like Amex, there's so many acronyms in marketing that can make you feel stupid.
Oh, yeah.
That get away from this core thing of what are people actually thinking?
Yeah.
So what was it? So did you learn anything during that job around this idea of a core insight, the idea of just how to come up with a lot of ideas fast? Like really coming up with the skill that you now, and we want to get to it, that you apply to your own company that you have now or to other projects that you worked on later. Any core lessons?
Well, it's crazy because I was in New York for almost 5 years and I worked on Amex for probably 80% of it. And I had zero work go live. Nothing went live.
Wow.
It was just years and years and years of like marketing process and just meeting with different
Yeah.
clients and literally like pushing
Yeah,
paper around.
yeah, yeah.
Brutal.
A lot of dusty decks.
Yeah, a lot of dusty decks. And I just assumed that was kind of the world, right? And so I really didn't hone, I guess maybe like outside of work, I was doing creative stuff and like thinking about creativity a lot. But this was like, I was a strategist. I wasn't a creative director. I was very focused on turning observations into insights, and the observations were pretty data focused, and you know, it was like pretty far from actually doing insightful work and doing work that would like move the needle for the business. But it was really valuable because it's those like uncomfortable meetings where I think you learn the most about the way you project yourself and the way you project ideas, and you start to just learn, because it can get really comfortable, and you can have a client that's comfortable, and you can go in and walk in the door and be like, Goodyear blimp. And they're like, fuck yeah. And then you go to a new client and you're like, Goodyear blimp. And they're like, get the hell out of here. You know? And so I think like I learned a lot of how do you like mirror back? How do you present in a way that will like be received on the other end? And I think that's like really valuable if you're selling shoes or insurance or whatever. It's that mirroring. It's the insight thing that you were talking about earlier. So I learned a lot of that. I think it was like minor leagues of just going into a lot of like serious quote unquote meetings and presenting and learning. Honestly, the acronym thing is good because like I tried to speak the speak of that world, which was super outside of how I talk and how I think. And it just felt inauthentic and it didn't work. And I could tell that they thought it was inauthentic.
Sure. A lot of KPIs.
Yeah. And I think that's just like that was a really good lesson of my biggest opportunity is being the most authentic version of myself, right? Like if I try and kind of change, I'm getting away from what maybe my like strengths are.
Sure.
And how I present myself. And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about this too, like coming into LA.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of people who are from outside of LA, maybe from, you know, good old Minnesota or something, you know, can come in and leverage a skill of being themselves. Yeah. That puts people at ease. Yeah. You know, whereas if you are pretentious, it tends to put people off, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And a lot of
Even
people
in
have
LA,
that.
man.
Right.
The most pretentious city in the world.
So you're in New York.
Yep.
During this time, are you adventuring a lot?
Not as much. I
mean, we haven't really talked about this, but you're very much an outdoors guy.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Was this from an early age that you were in the, I mean, you said Minnesota's an indoor place, but you're... Yeah.
I grew up ski racing. Yeah.
Okay.
And I really fell for that hard. And you know, I was like ski racing in the mid 90s and skiing, you know, had the 70s and had the 80s, and then there was like this big lull, and snowboarding was kind of pushing against skiing. And then there was this like new renaissance of freestyle skiing before they called it like, you know, free skiing or whatever the in vogue term is, but it was a really like rich time in skiing. And I think another like sort of similar to DJing is like lots of brands. If you're a K2 guy, what does it say about you? If you're a Rosignol guy, what does it say about you? That sort of stuff. So yeah. So, and then when I went to New York, you know, you're just in the city, right? And so I was just like taking a lot more photos, and I would like go around the city more and just kind of like go 4 or 5 stops past where I needed to get out, and then just walk mostly through safe places and just take photos. And that was kind of my exploration. My family lives there. My sister lives there now, and they have a place upstate, and they sort of introduced me to going to like Hunter Mountain and the Catskills and all that sort of stuff. And so towards the end of being in New York, I was camping and backpacking and stuff a bit more upstate, and it was sort of indicating that I should be out of the city, and maybe California was right for me.
So my older brother has gotten really into splitboarding.
Whoa.
And
cool.
Also my friend Tyler has gotten really into it. And I feel like I keep losing one surfer friend after the next to splitboarding, because sooner or later the crowds just are too much for
Right.
them, right? And surfing is
Yeah.
just it's really hard to get away from the crowds.
Yeah,
You-
totally.
like growing
There's
up,
only so many waves.
yeah, and when you're
There's a lot more mountain.
a lot more mountain than waves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid, surfing is such a social experience, right? Growing up, you'd get a crew of like 6 kids together. You all are on your cruiser bikes. That you got the
Yeah.
boards. You're biking down to the beach.
Nice.
You all sit in the pack. It's like it's like a more the merrier shit, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, of course.
you're gaining your friend group, all this shit. And then the older you get, the more
Inside jokes.
yeah. Older you get, just the more misanthropic you become.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, I hate
Who
people.
is this guy that looks exactly like me?
I can't do this anymore. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I find that a lot of lifelong surfers tend to either start really valuing empty waves, and they'll go to the ends of the earth to try
Yeah.
and find that and then keep it secret, which is its own glorious quest
Yeah.
in itself, or they pick up hunting, spearfishing,
Yeah.
or splitboarding.
Yeah.
And a lot of friends have gotten
Lot of
into those
splitboarding.
three sports. I mean, in Santa Cruz too, where I grew up, Tahoe was right there. You know?
Right.
So a lot of my friends would go do that. What is it about splitboarding or cross country skiing that you fell in love with?
I mean, I just fell in love. I was downhill skiing, and I think it's an extremely mental and technical sport, just like surfing, man. It's understanding your connection, unlike other sports, your connection to nature and the gravity of nature and those, the forces of nature, I think is really cool. And then you have this like extremely technical, in ski racing or big wave surfing, you have to be extremely precise. And I think that balance of the rough, unexpected organic nature
Sure.
and like the precision and the decision making, it's a really good intersection.
Connection. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got into like touring and backcountry skiing, pretty recently, like in the last, 5 or 6 seasons. And I like that too, because you have this, physical thing that you have to do to gain your turns, right? Which most downhill skiers or snowboarders don't do that. You hop on a lift and you cruise up and you go down, which is sick, right? But I like that part of it. And there's also this like, I don't know, fake G.I. Joe-ness to it. You got all your gear on and it's technical and you're literally, I don't want to get hit by an avalanche, but there's also just like the lore of it and the aesthetic of it. It's really cool.
And the silence of it too.
Oh yeah.
I think about this a lot.
Super
like,
good.
What's the sound you're hearing in your sport? Like any sport.
Skiing is like whoosh.
Yeah, whoosh, or just like the silence of snow is something so unlike anything else. But I mean, I think you could do. You ever see the movie The Sound of Metal?
Yeah. I actually worked on a project for Sound of Metal.
Wow, it's such an amazing film.
Yeah, that's a really cool
God.
movie.
Oh, an amazing movie. If people haven't seen it, it's about a heavy metal band member who goes deaf, and it's about his process of going deaf, and it will scare the shit out of you. You will start wearing earplugs when you go to concerts, but it also is just an intimate view into sound.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this recently, like what are all the way I had this thought was I was in the airport and I recently got these noise canceling headphones. I was walking through the airport with the headphones. I realized how much more relaxed I was walking through an airport not hearing anything. And how much of my anxiety in a crowded airport doesn't actually come from visual cues, but from auditory cues.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, well, wow, how much is it in the sports that we're doing that we're enjoying the sound of
that's
it,
interesting.
Right? Like we're always thinking about visually, like, oh, it's the mountaintop, it's the wave, but like spearfishing, for example.
Yeah.
If you're hunting white sea bass, those fish croak underwater.
Really?
Yeah, you can hear, they have a drum beat, like a croaking drum beat that you can fucking hear while you're diving. And that conduction of sound in ocean is just unbelievable, man. And then
I used to love to crack my knuckles underneath a pool when I was a kid.
That's fucking so satisfying.
It's really satisfying.
Yeah. And then, with snowboarding and skiing, like, the whoosh and just the silence of the mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do a whole doc on that. Tennis players.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. I think part of like the success of pickleball is it has a really satisfying sound. When you hit it, it has a like, really nice
sound. Yeah, man. I skateboarding. So growing up, we had a half pipe in our backyard.
Oh, amazing.
4 foot, 6 foot extension, and the coping that we put on this thing was underwater piping. So it had rust on it. Oh. And as a result, it was the loudest, most satisfying grind sound when you would do a slash across the coping. And I was like, why is this ramp so much better than other ramps? Like, it's because the sound of the fucking coping
That's sick.
is so sick.
That should be your ringtone.
Yeah,
now.
just coping slashes. Sha, sha, yeah.
That's super good.
Yeah, man.
The sound of nature. I just last weekend I did this crazy fly fishing trip with a split boarder, and we were up really high in the Sierras, like right by Mammoth, and it was really quiet. And we're in this Alpine lake, and it's beautiful. It's so crazy up there. I can't believe how beautiful California is.
It's insane.
And I was like, dude, do you hear that? And he was like, yeah. And it was just so quiet. And this bush plane at like 11,000 feet comes through this very narrow like separation of peaks, like this little like shoulder, just 90 degrees through, flies 100 feet above us, and it was like rumbling us, and it totally took us out of like the natureness of it. Oh my God. But it was like you could hear it from so far away, and then it just like came right around the corner like a fighter jet. It was crazy.
That's so unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
I mean, hunting, like if you're on an elk hunt, the sound that a bugling bull makes is terrifying.
I don't think I could kill an animal like that.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
it's
sure.
such an intense,
they're big,
powerful sound. You know, I think.
Do you hunt?
I do, and your ears get better. I mean, it's really, you know, one thing about hunting is your ears really are one of your best tools out there.
That's crazy.
So a huge amount of what you're doing is just sitting in silence, trying to hear some branch cracking in the distance or a bugle or something. But yeah, I mean, it reminded me, and I would say I'm like yellow belt hunter, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends that are like brown and black belt hunters, which is how you get better. But a lot of what they're doing is being like, dude, you're being so fucking loud right now. And I'm like, I'm being as quiet as I can possibly be. Like, if you want to really, if you want to blow it hunting, you show up to a spot and you slam your door.
Oh, really?
I mean, people will freak out.
Yeah.
Because the animals will just be like, cool, I'm gone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's the door shut is the finesse of it is massively important. But it reminded me how little I think about hearing, you know, how much I think it just on the day to day, and we can get back to, you know,
dude,
creative.
Living in New York,
right?
Sound is wild. Like, I go back there now probably once a year.
Yeah.
And I just can't. I used to go up and down Broadway, be in Soho all the time,
right.
Broadway and Houston, and just cool, whatever. I go back there now. You just can't believe how many horns are being honked.
Yeah.
And I was just completely impervious to it when I was there. Yeah. But now it affects me. It's so loud.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really funny, man. As I was in New York for my first time, maybe 4 months ago, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing! I love it. This is there's such an energy to the city."
Yeah.
And I got drunk one night. My fiance went out to a comedy show. Got drunk. The next morning, I had a meeting with someone like at 8 a.m. So I had to wake up early, figure out the subway system hungover, and I think I was closer to a panic attack than I've ever had in my entire life because of the sound.
Oof.
I was like on the side of the subway like, oh my God, this is so intense right now. But you know what? I mean,
I have a funny hangover New York story, and it'll just be short, but I was there for a project, and the project wrapped, and then the next day it was just like pouring rain. But I just wanted to like go explore the city or whatever, you know, I have limited time in the city. So I'm staying at this pretty fancy hotel in Soho, and they have umbrellas, and I grab an umbrella, and I just pop the umbrella, and I go start walking around Soho, and up and down Broadway and other places like that, and I'm getting like weird looks, and I don't know why, but it's noticeable that I'm getting weird looks. So after doing that for about an hour and a half, I go back to the hotel, and I collapse the umbrella, and it just in huge 2,000 point font, it just says Trump
Oh my God.
on the umbrella. So I was just rolling around with this Trump umbrella,
That's
just the center of Soho.
So funny.
Yeah, just completely oblivious to
That
it.
is so funny. Hey, good for you, man. I think that this is the idea of like there's something stoic about this. There's a famous stoic Cato who said that like you should walk around with he would walk around with a purple tunic to be embarrassed so that he could remind himself that he should only be embarrassed by things that he chose to, right?
So I'm basically a monk now.
Well, you're basically a monk or a Trump. But
Yeah.
the idea is there's like a modern version of this, which is you should draw a square on your forehead and walk around for a day with a square on your forehead.
Wow.
So that you become more comfortable getting weird
Interesting.
looks, because how much of life is us trying to socially conform
Yeah.
to what we think is cool versus just saying, okay, I'm gonna experience this for a day so that I cannot let that rule me.
Yeah. Interesting. Would you do that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'd probably do it too.
Yeah.
Where would you go?
I mean, you'd have to go to I will do.
You can have a similar experience if you dress like someone that lives in LA and go to a mall in Minnesota, though. I have experienced
totally,
that.
Yeah, it doesn't take a blue square. You just need to just wear a V-neck and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't wear those anymore, but there was
a time.
There was a couple
dark
years.
time. I'm glad we met after that.
All right. Yeah.
I will do almost anything for a good story.
Okay.
And it sort of
Hell yeah.
frightens me. Yeah. I will do a great many.
What else is there in life, though, man?
Yeah.
Like, just go make stories.
Yeah.
It's the way to be.
It's all we'll remember.
Yeah.
It's all we'll remember. I
And
really
be remembered for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that. How often do you think of your life or reflect on an experience and try and turn it into a story?
Yeah.
Is that like a conscious effort of yours?
I mean, I was like always really bad at school, and it was the most important thing to my dad. So I was always trying to like tell stories. So for me, I'm like always thinking about telling a story, and I don't know. It's part of the reason that I like going to adventures and like go do crazy stuff. Right? Is just to tell people about it. And I don't think it's out of narcissism. I think it's just when Red Dead Redemption came out, that game, that game. I just had this feeling. I don't play a lot of video games, but I would just watch it all over social or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I don't know a ton about this, so explain it to me.
It's like a cowboy game where you like go around in the mountains and you survive and hunt, and you can like kill dudes and rob banks or whatever. 90% of that game, you can just go do. You can just do that in your real life.
Right.
And I was never a game guy, but like that hit me. I had this like human insight, this massive truth that like, dude, you're gonna sit there and play video games about going in the mountains and riding a horse. You can just go do that.
Right.
Just go do that.
Yeah, it becomes.
Sorry to any gamers, but
no,
games are fun.
Well, I'm finishing up this project that I've been working on for the last 3 years about how to interview your parents before they die, and
crazy.
One of the really interesting things that I didn't include in the book, but has really surfaced more recently as I've been going through these interviews and talking to other people who interview their parents. What are the stories that they remember?
Yeah.
Right? If you have a whole life, let's say you have 70, 80, 90 years, what stays?
Yeah.
What stays? The amount of stories that took place in the outdoors that they remember
Interesting.
is crazy.
Yeah.
It is something about the novelty of being up on a mountain, on the surfboard, on the trip.
That's awesome.
Imprints itself into our brains in a way that a an indoor experience really does not.
Yeah.
It's remarkable if you sit down with a parent or grandparent, ask them about their lives.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't do that much shit in the outdoors,
Yeah.
those will be the things that they'll remember.
Yeah.
And those are then the experiences that imprint back on themselves for them to basically project an identity out on the world.
I mean, this is sort of an oversimplification, but like we've really only been inside for 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, like
Dude.
up until about 100 years ago, most of our time was outdoors.
Yes.
So I could see that like in, you know, our parents' generation, their parents' generation, it's probably like a heightened, I don't know, like more of like a heightened experience or a memory because you're so not far removed from a fully outdoor.
Totally. 2 people ago. We were like
2 people
strictly outside.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buffalo hide was like a nice indoor, like your bath was like that was buffalo hide.
What I wonder if 150 years ago, if their stories would over-index on indoor experiences.
Ooh, that's a really good point because it would be more novel for
This
them.
chair, dude.
Yeah,
This
chair. God damn, this teepee is so nice to be in.
Yeah. It's warm. I'm going to take my shoes off.
I do think that there are, certain things
Boots,
we
not
do that tap into a primal and animalistic part of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Sex is one.
Yep.
Hunting, I think for a lot of people, they
Yeah.
don't know if they can do it, and then they do it, and they're like, that felt oddly deja vu.
Interesting.
Like that was weirdly, I remember
a genetic unlock or something.
genetic memory.
Yeah.
And I think that tapping into a few more of those things it's very healthy for us. But yeah,
we were on this production a couple days ago. Dumb little story.
Go.
And a scene called for shooting cans with a BB gun.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the gun, and it's all LA creative types. And someone's like, "Do you think you'll be able to hit it?" And I just first shot.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
And everyone, I don't know, everyone
Jesus
thought I was Bear
Christ.
Grylls.
Yeah. That's so fucking
Which felt
funny.
awesome, but seriously, the can was 60 feet away from me.
That's so
It was
funny.
like not a big deal at all.
Yeah, you're like, this is an incredibly accurate weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, I grew up running around outside.
Yeah.
You sort of have that advantage, but you don't realize that, you'll meet people in LA or New York or whatever, and they just have never had those experiences.
Yeah.
They didn't get a BB gun when they were 10 years old.
There's a huge advantage to, and not everyone has this, to just fucking yourself up as a kid a lot.
Yeah.
And like you learn how to use your body.
Yeah.
And people who don't
Stitches
have that,
and-
and like just spatial awareness.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like, I can jump from this rock to that rock.
Yeah.
I feel confident that I can.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people don't have that, but man, I mean, talk about removing yourself from the genetic history. Like, was there anyone uncoordinated 200 years ago?
I mean, Darwin probably took care of that a little bit, right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder, like, were there just the super nerdy people who couldn't?
Abe Lincoln was like pretty lanky. So
Yeah,
there's
he
probably a few-
seemed a little top heavy.
Yeah.
He seemed like a tripper.
Little
Like,
top hat heavy.
Yeah, he would just trip a lot.
Yeah.
That's
sure. I don't know the requirements. It would be interesting if you were to travel back in time. What would be the physical demands of living 150 years ago versus now? Probably a lot.
a lot more.
Like just the idea of level floors, just like not having level floors that much.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Like you leave your spot and you just walk down a perfectly level sidewalk for as far as you can go.
It's a huge thing actually for the elderly.
Yeah.
It's very important that they walk on uneven ground because
Interesting.
one of the biggest ways that the elderly will die, broken hips.
Yeah.
Right? So you break a hip and then you stop exercising.
Right.
It won't kill
All
you, but
goes from
very
there.
quickly it goes
Yeah.
from there. So grip strength.
My grandpa died playing tennis with his girlfriend at 93.
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah. It's a
Hey.
pretty good way out.
Yeah. I heard a story. I was in Canada a couple months back of a guy who lived up there. He was in his 90s. He'd lived out in this remote part of Canada forever, and he was bringing in a salmon from his boat and was found dead. His boat was doing circles and he had the salmon in his lap.
It's pretty good.
He just brought it in and was like, all right, I'm done. So what
He was probably just so hyped to tell his wife about it and had a heart attack.
what do you still, I'm going to ask you two more questions. I know we got to go pretty soon.
No, all
but
good.
what do you still want to do from an adventure standpoint that you have not done? What are things that you feel like either you want to get more into or like if we're thinking about this bending arc of life of Ned, what are the things that you're like, I really still want to tick that off?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like physical nature stuff, it's probably skiing and fly fishing or probably a combination of both. I think skiing probably in South America. My cousin and I went heli skiing last year, and if you want to scare yourself and also feel like a superhero, do that. Yeah. It's really challenging in an amazing way. Yeah. And I would do it again. My wife was pregnant at the time, so I was just like sitting in this heli, like,
don't die.
Unloading this heli on this peak is so high. And they were like, oh, you guys are good skiers. Let's push it. And you're just like, fuck. But yeah, that trip was definitely life-changing. So trying to do more of that. Wow. Being in a heli is scary. And then like, I don't know, the idea of there's this one Yeti spot called Cosmos. I was just talking to a guy about it while I was fly fishing last weekend. They're in like Madagascar and they're fishing for this like crazy fish called GTs. And just plane to Africa, another plane internally, another plane across, boat out, and then, catching the hardest fish in the world. That sort of stuff is really appealing. Just far flung with a tangible goal. I think you probably have that with surfing. You want to I want to go there and do this. Totally. And it's pretty singular. Yeah. And that was with heli skiing too. I
enjoy it so much more. Traveling with a goal.
Yeah, totally. Traveling with a goal is really good. And so, I don't know. I have a kid now. I have another one on the way. And so the skiing, I'm like turning it down a little bit, because I got to be respectful to my family and be responsible. So the fly fishing stuff has definitely got up. My goal this year was the golden trout is California state fish. I think freshwater fish. They're pretty hard to find, especially for someone that like I'm the only one of my friend group that really fly fishes in California and like knows fly fishing. So it's all me kind of figuring out. So my goal this year was to like catch goldens, and I did, which was amazing. They're not big. They're just like small and pretty and spooky and hard to get. And that was like a good, relatively safe. I had to be at like 11,000 feet and I had to kind of climb around to get up there. But it was cool. It was very physically challenging and like it just takes patience to do it. And I don't know, not on my phone, Yeah. Just on my phone too much. Just like those sort of things where you can aim a goal and just like put your phone in your pocket and
just go.
And my relationship with my phone is probably bad, but it's gotten me a lot of work. Yeah. So yeah, there's a give and take.
Yeah, so to do things where you can't be on your phone. Phone addiction is a funny one because it's so intense when you're in it, but the addiction goes away so quickly when you're not. Yeah, like, it's not like heroin where there's real withdrawals, right? You have like for me, there's like a period of 5 hours where I'm like, I want to check my phone, and then after that, I'm like, I don't want to check my phone anymore.
Yeah, totally.
It really goes away.
I think it's just dopamine addiction. Yeah, because last weekend we were just out in high altitude making decisions about food and how long we're going to be out and sunlight and all that sort of stuff. And you don't even think about pulling your phone out. Totally. Because you're making all these dopamine decisions and climbing up these little hills and shit.
Dude,
and, it's great.
That fish is getting you your dopamine. My big hack really this year that I've found is if I don't check my phone for the first few hours of the day, just keep it off.
You're bold.
Bro, I get so much work done.
Oh,
the amount of good writing I can do if I don't check my phone first and then just, I'm going to turn it on at 11 or noon. I mean, I get 2 days worth of work done.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I don't do it every morning, but the habit of waking up and taking a dump and checking your texts, like all of a sudden,
Text,
like,
come on.
yeah,
I'm like
you're
5
everywhere.
apps deep. Yeah.
By the time you're on your last wipe.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I like, before I started my own business, I was basically tasked by the CEO of the last company, like, let's build a social agency.
Right.
Before that was like a thing.
Right.
And so, my career and livelihood has sort of been rooted in
Always being
social
on
and being on and
Right.
speaking the language of social. And I don't know. Not a great thing to be remembered for, but I don't know. I've
But hey,
got to go around the world a few times
Dude,
for
you're,
it.
You're
It's
doing it. You're
pretty
doing
fun.
it, and
Yeah.
you do things that allow you to unplug and
totally.
and recognize that it's not the whole world.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Last question. Professionally, what are the mountains that you have yet to climb? It doesn't even need to be specific, but just the kinds of projects that maybe you have been inspired by in the past that you would like to do.
Yeah.
Things that you would be really proud of and excited about for you to get into in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. A lot of people come to me for advice about businesses, and so like a year and a half ago I just wanted to start my own business outside of the agency that I have, because I felt like I could go find a white space and chase after it, and then also apply the tools that I've been telling people to do for years.
Sure. You're like, this
And
better
learn-
this better
this
work.
better fucking work.
Yeah, because if it doesn't work with me, it ain't working with anybody.
I know.
Totally. No, but
because I listen to me. A lot of people don't listen to me. When
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to do this.
yeah.
But,
yeah. But for real, I do think there's a great advantage to working in advertising in some capacity and then starting your own thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because you understand. I mean, it's like communicating to people. If you can unlock that insight, or if you can find a way to resonate, or just land an idea with someone, or fill a void, that's it. And I don't know, man. So much of advertising is just making mistakes.
Yeah.
So many mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
Pitching, losing.
Yeah. I wouldn't know what you're talking about, but I would imagine with your failure that it would be hard.
I'm an impressive failure.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But I mean, launching a brand, I launched a brand last year.
Slicks.
Yup. That's why I'm wearing the hat. And it was out of, I hadn't had that uncomfortable New York Amex meeting feeling. When I left my last agency, I was like batting 1,000 in terms of pitches for a while, which was great. And it wasn't just me by any means. We just had a killer team, and everyone was like synced, and things were just working, but I just knew how to like win. Pretty much had it dialed. And I think I like missed that fear of not winning. And so I was like, how can I do this and maybe make a little more money? So I started Slicks.
Which is a lube.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It's a lube.
Yeah.
Why lube?
Honestly, it seemed really complicated. And I think I just was like, I want to go to a CPG product that looks like it has a white space and give it a branding touch and a product touch and see if I can just like make it work. And so I did a bunch of research, talked to a bunch of people, and I found the industry was like really large, personal lubricant, like really large. And so I wrote classic me. I wrote like a pitch deck, and I went and met with a bunch of business people and creatives that I knew, and no one told me it was a bad idea. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And it's been working. It's cool. It's also very complicated, and it's different to think about advertising and spending ad dollars when they're your dollars.
Right. Yeah. Suddenly that idea you had is like, this better fucking work.
Yeah. And suddenly you're like these fucking nerds in their metrics. You are the nerd in the metrics.
Right. That's really funny.
Which is it's really
what were the
valuable.
business outcomes of this ad? You're like, it was cool. You're like, that's not going to cut
Check
it
out
anymore.
the vibes in this one. Yeah. So I know that's been good. I think one of the most satisfying things about it is waking up in the morning and seeing that I have sales on my phone, like while I'm asleep. You're like, oh, I've tapped in to this like human insight, and I'm figuring out how to communicate this brand to people.
And what would you say is the human insight of Slicks?
I mean, honestly, I had an idea before, but when I met with a lot of people, I was surprised how many people actually bought the product. And I think just like dudes,
Sure.
regular dudes. I mean, no one's regular, right? But like straight couples.
Definitely not when it comes to our sex life.
Yeah, totally. But like straight couples, male focused, Yeti consumer,
Right.
maybe Avengers watcher. They're just like totally underserved.
Mm.
And that was the big thing. I was like, oh, dudes think it's a thing that makes them inadequate, and women think the opposite. Is sort of the insight that we had. And so we're just targeting it at like, hey, straight guys.
Mm. So,
but it's for everyone, and everyone buys our product, which is great.
Right. But it's more for. I mean, I don't know a ton about this market, but guys who use lube think it makes them inadequate somehow.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. I don't know. I do know, but I don't want to bore you with the details. But I think it's like, yeah, there's a fear of sexual inadequacy. It's fear, I think.
Right. Sure.
And you know, in the short time we've had the business, we've heard that side of it. I don't know, that means you're bad at it or whatever. And then the women's side of it is like, no, it's a sign of like actually expertise and care. And so our whole goal is to just bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And we just do that by making it feel like adventure.
Yeah.
And
this guy's got
lifestyle.
lube. He's a fucking pro.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it's weird.
It's an adventure brand. The guy's fly fishing. He's got lube.
I mean, it's weird because like we got all these like specific sample packs.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you're a business owner, you're like a shark. You just keep moving, right?
Yeah.
And when we got them, we got like 30,000 of them, right? It was like the minimum order. We're like, can we sell these? And they said, no. I was like, wait, why? And they're like, well, people don't sell them. I was like, why don't they sell them? And they're like, oh, they're just samples. I'm like, legally, can we sell them? Well, yeah, I guess. So we just packaged our samples as travel packs, and then we editorialized everything around adventure. Like we have this whole editorial coming from this amazing photographer we just had go to Japan and shoot a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I mean, it's a very funny. It fit in anywhere. It's a great tag.
Yeah,
Love
it's a
that.
pretty good tagline.
That's great.
Yeah, my notes app for this brand is wild.
Next level, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. You know, like starting the agency was good, and I like doing like client service work, and I like seeing other clients like grow off the work that I've done. But
sure,
I sort of wanted to put a little more skin in my own game.
Right. And there's never been a time.
That's not a tagline I was going to use for
skin in my own game. Yeah. Well, there's never been a time also where it's easier to launch your own thing.
Yeah.
And
it's competitive. It's more competitive for sure.
Right.
But it's
easier to get into the market and then start trying and learning, and when you see something work, you can really ramp it up fast.
Yeah. Yeah. We got on Amazon like a month ago. We haven't really like publicly stated it because we're still refining, and it's crazy, the data. And I think you're not going to be ready for the data that you have if you don't have advertising experience, because you need to figure out how to like, okay, there's all these observations, but I can't just like mirror back observations. I need to turn it into an insight. I need to turn it into something
into an ad ultimately.
Right. And having that level of data and kind of seeing, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Amazon's wild.
That's really fun. Yeah. I mean, the sex industry too. I mean, we're such sexual animals.
Yeah.
Fundamentally. So if you think about communicating someone's secret insecurity or desire through that brand, I feel like there's just a ton of humor and latitude to tell that story.
Yeah. And we just like lead a horse to water on a lot of it too. We're trying to like be evocative of the fantasy or I mean, for me, like as a young man, I was like, I want to go to a foreign place with a pretty girl. And like, that's just sort of the strategy that we're taking right now, you know, like every love story ever, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of the vibe.
That's really funny.
But yeah, we're not, there's a lot of brands that are like very X-rated. That works for them. I've seen the data. It works very well for them. And there's a lot of brands that are very
G-rated.
Yeah, or maybe more antiseptic. And my thing is like, I don't want to be X-rated even remotely over there, but I don't want to be antiseptic and medical. So where's like, maybe this is a bad example. Where's the Supreme version of it, or where's the Filson or like the Yeti version of this? And there literally is just like a massive.
We're
gap.
the Yeti of lube.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking
man.
A, man. Love it. Just gotta, if you're travel, you gotta get through those TSA checkpoints.
Dude, you can set like they sold $400 coolers, and they're performance coolers, but like they just invented a market, right? And it's like a little bit of Red Bull, a little bit of Yeti, just like kind of invent the market a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed seeing it. I think that there's a lot of humor in it. I think you're just a damn good creative. And
thanks, man. Back at you. It's been fun working together.
Totally. Just the beginning, I hope. I think that it's great to it's just fun coming up with fucking ideas, man. Dude. I mean, there's just something that is, you said at the beginning, like, people don't care about your shit or something like that. Like you need to know that. And I think that there's a really fun.
Smart is stupid. That's what I say a lot. If you're trying to sound smart, it's going to be stupid.
Well, and I think that there's also just a fun paradox to like recognizing that people don't care about your shit while simultaneously believing that you can blow it up in a really big way. Yeah. Right? Like you need to both know like, people don't know or don't care, but also let's make this thing huge and make everyone care. Like to be able to spend time in both of those worlds is it's just a good time.
And there's just so many complicated, like calibrated tools to do both, like big swing, hearts and minds, and then you just follow through in the conversion ads. Right. You just bring them through that way.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I can tell that you have a deep love for the game.
Yeah, dude.
And it's super fun to get to know you better. Where can people find out more about what it is that you do?
You should just follow Slicks for All on
Slicks
Instagram.
Fit in anywhere.
Yeah, that's our tagline.
You ain't got some lube in your life? Get some of that lube.
Yeah. I think it's also, for me, it's a study of like brand building too, and trying to be scrappy and like make interesting content. Dude, I've been working in social for 10 years and like I still don't understand the algorithm.
Yeah.
I just think the one thing that I have though is if you overthink an idea, it's just probably not going to perform.
Yeah. It's like jumping off of a high dive. You can't wait for too long.
The best stuff that we do is just like, hey, what if we did this? And then it's out in like 18 hours. Yeah. That crushes.
Keep trying shit. Keep failing forward.
Totally. Yeah, man.
Ned Lampert, so great to chat with you, my friend.
This was great.
More to come.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.